You know what concerned me? I thought Tim was a little bit arrogant.
Tszyu faces a major setback after a crushing loss to Bakhram Murtazaliev, raising doubts about his future in the boxing elite. Following the fight, Tszyu acknowledged that despite his thorough preparation, Murtazaliev was the superior fighter on the night, and he accepted the outcome with humility.
I was positive after the Fondora, but I got to find more answers with this one. Like, this didn't go according to script. It was a little bit different. I felt unbelievable, I'll be honest with you. Felt unbelievable, I had a great prep, so he got me, man, and it was a better man on this night, man.
Bakhram Murtazaliev explains that the left hook he delivered was very strong and unexpected. When a fighter doesn't see a punch coming, it feels twice as powerful, which likely impacted his opponent's ability to recover.
Он не ожидал его, а когда ты удар не видишь, он вдвойне сильнее становится.
I guess you gotta ask him that, but that left hook was very, very powerful, and he didn't expect it. And when you don't expect it, it's double. It gives you double impact.
Bakhram Murtazaliev mentions that while he didn't specifically plan to finish the fight in the first round, he was prepared for it. He was ready for any outcome and had trained for all 12 rounds. But if an early finish happened, he was fully prepared to capitalize on it.
I was thinking to, in the first round just to fill him out, feel his power, see how hard he hits. A lot of people saying that, you can see my shots, I hit sloppy, but he was hitting like that too, so I could see everything, so I wanted to counter him on that.
Following a surprising early stoppage loss over the weekend, Tszyu addressed his fans through a public statement on social media, expressing his determination to bounce back from this unexpected defeat. Despite the setback, Tszyu reassured his supporters that this was not the end of his journey, and he expects to return to major fights in the near future. In his statement, Tszyu acknowledged the outcome, saying, "It is what it is. I got caught with a shot, I just couldn't move on. I kept getting up, but that wasn't good enough." He emphasized the need to regroup and move forward, promising that his team would be back in action soon. Tszyu, who remains resolute, stated, "I will be back. I'll still be in big fights soon. The main thing my dad taught me from a young age is to never give up. If you shoot for the stars and crash and burn along the way, just keep going. And I'm going to keep going and keep reaching for them stars." Reflecting on Tsyu's performance, Keith Thurman explained that Tszyu made a crucial mistake by leaning over and dropping his right hand when throwing body shots, leaving his head unprotected. This error allowed Bakhram to land a decisive left hook to Tsyu's temple, resulting in the first knockdown.
Because the 10 that are coming at you, they're still hitting the guard, and you're up against the ropes, and the judges are just going to give him credit for that. So you finally did land 2 punches, but now you guys are kind of even. And then if the judges have to pick, are they going to pick the evenness of that? They're going to pick the one who threw more punches. So I already saw that Bakhram, theoretically, just from my eyes, has the capacity to take rounds from him.
In addition, Caleb Plant emphasized Bakhram Murtazaliev's experience and the potential threat he poses as a fighter, particularly pointing out Murtazaliev's strong amateur background. He acknowledged Murtazaliev's ability to maintain a high level of performance, even under challenging conditions such as during Ramadan, when fasting restricts his ability to eat during the day.
It went like Tim sort of was trying to walk him down straight away. Was that
I would like to see him ease into it a little bit more, off the bat. And, a fight still probably would have broke out, but at least you could, build up to that. That guy, he's, as I said before the fight, he's a real good fighter, got a lot of experience, a lot of amateur experience, and a dangerous man. I think he won the title during Ramadan. Couldn't eat, and still put up a little fight. So I knew it'd be a tough fight.
Bakhram Murtazaliev, the undefeated IBF junior middleweight champion, secured a dominant victory over Tszyu with a third-round knockout on Saturday at the Caribe Royale Resort in Orlando, Florida. Murtazaliev controlled the fight decisively, knocking Tszyu down multiple times, beginning in the second round with a powerful left hook. Although Tszyu landed some noteworthy punches, his failure to adjust his tactics and his choice to trade punches ultimately led to his defeat. Tsyu's corner stopped the fight after a third-round knockdown, ending the bout at 155, as Murtazaliev overwhelmed him with relentless precision and power, keeping his unbeaten record intact. Sean Porter expressed strong enthusiasm in anticipation of the fight, confidently predicting a victory for Tszyu. He emphasized the excitement surrounding the match, particularly highlighting the dynamic of 2 international fighters competing on American soil, which, in his view, added a unique appeal to the event. Porter encouraged fans to watch, pointing out that the clash had all the ingredients ingredients for a thrilling and action-packed bout, making it a must-see for boxing enthusiasts.
I like it. I like it for Tim, and I like it for boxing. The reason why I like it for Tim, I think it's a fight that he's gonna win. I like it for boxing because I think it's gonna be action-packed, and I think that for me, when you have two, for the sake of words, foreign fighters fighting on Prime, fighting on American soil and all those sorts of things, you need something that's gonna sell people why they should watch this fight. I would tell everybody watch this fight because it's gonna be action-packed.
After the victory, Bakhram Murtazaliev audibly taunted Tim Tszyu following his emphatic TKO win, retaining his IBF junior middleweight title. Tszyu was knocked down multiple times in the second and third rounds before his corner threw in the towel. Murtazaliev, lifted onto the shoulders of a team member, shouted, "Who's your daddy now?" after defeating the son of the legendary Kostya Tszyu. However, despite his bravado, he showed great humility afterward, calling Tszyu a warrior and expressing a desire to collaborate in the future. "I wish him all the best. One day, I would like to work together," he said. Veteran combat sports journalist Peter Badel, speaking during the post-fight coverage on Main Event, observed that Tim Tszyu appeared to be a little arrogant early in the bout. Badel felt that Tszyu hadn't fully earned the right to dominate the fight and had underestimated Bakhram Murtazaliev. He compared this fight to Tszyu's previous match against Mendoza, where Tszyu had been more cautious and strategic. In contrast, against Murtazaliev, Tszyu rushed in, seemingly trying to overpower his opponent too quickly. According to Badel, this aggressive approach ultimately contributed to Tszyu's devastating loss. Interestingly, if Tim Tszyu hadn't pursued boxing, he believes he would have become a UFC fighter. American MMA artist Rashad Evans commented on the fight beforehand, leaning towards Murtazaliev, saying, "This is going to be tough for Tim Tszyu. Murtazaliev hits as hard as he gets hit, but I feel Tszyu will get the job done." Offering a supportive perspective, Tim's younger brother Nikita Tszyu showed his confidence in his brother, noting, "Bakhram's style is pretty straightforward. He moves forward a lot. I think Tim will break him down as the fight progresses." On the other side, Bakhram Murtazaliev was eager to face Tszyu, showing respect for his opponent. He said, "The best part of fighting Tszyu is that he won't run. He's coming to fight. I love fighting in the center of the ring. It'll be a great fight for fans. I'm excited to face Tszyu because of his famous name and talk. Regardless of my opponent, my mentality remains the same. I fight whoever is put in front of me." After witnessing the fight, Tszyu mother, Natasha, expressed her concerns and suggested that her son should spend time in Russia for a grueling Soviet-style training camp after seeing him stray from his methodical boxing approach against Murtazaliev's power-punching style. Providing a broader perspective, Chris Mannix described Tim Tszyu's performance as a sobering reality check, noting Murtazaliev's dominance and his path towards unifying the division. He tweeted, "Tim Tszyu just took an absolute beating from Murtazaliev. Wow. Tszyu dropped 4 times before his corner threw in the towel. Statement win for Murtazaliev, who will undoubtedly look to unify." Pro boxer Erickson Lubin voiced his interest in facing Bakhram Murtazaliev, revealing that he had wanted the matchup even before Tim Tszyu was slated to fight him. Lubin shared his frustration, mentioning that others had interfered with his efforts to arrange the fight. Adding to the reactions, Sub-Zero also expressed shock at Tszyu's performance, stating, "I am in shock. I picked against Tszyu, but didn't expect this kind of KO, dropped 5 times. Similarly, Hamed remarked on Tszyu's significant defeat, dominated by Murtazaliev's multiple heavy knockdowns. He tweeted, "Tim Tszyu took a bad beating. Congrats to Bakhram Murtazaliev. Tszyu got dominated." Bakhram Murtazaliev reflects on the post-fight interactions and discusses his approach to future opponents. After the fight, Tszyu approached him to express gratitude, despite some negative remarks made before the bout. Murtazaliev downplays the tension, stating, "He just thanked me for the fight. This is just a sport. Boxing is just a sport. After the war in the ring, we made peace. The fight ended without any hard feelings. We shook hands like men, and that was it." Murtazaliev also discusses potential future fights, making it clear that he's willing to face any top contender, especially those holding belts. He says, "I don't care who I fight. If we can't make a deal with the champions who have the belts, we'll choose from the best available fighters. My priority is to fight for belts, but if there's no belt on the line, I'll fight anyone." Murtazaliev then adds a humorous remark about his training, saying, "People don't know how intense my training is. If they knew, they wouldn't question me." Former boxer Chris Algieri highlighted Bakhram Murtazaliev's notable remarkable skill and strength, specifically pointing out the power of his right hand. Algieri remarked that although Murtazaliev had often flown under the radar in the boxing world, he had consistently delivered impressive performances. He referenced Murtazaliev's knockout win in Germany as a testament to his abilities, adding that Murtazaliev was now proving himself on the global stage and gaining well-deserved recognition.
Murtazaliev is actually a very good fighter. He's got a very good right hand. He's fundamental. He's physically strong. He's big. He's tall for the weight class. This is not an easy fight for Tszyu, not a walkover by any means. Just because we haven't heard of him or the boxing public hasn't heard of him doesn't mean the guy can't fight. He's been one of those guys who's been under the radar, taking a lot of step-aside monies for a lot of these champions because he doesn't have the profile, which often happens in our sport that no one ever hears about. But this guy has been in the background fighting and winning and doing it in impressive fashion, especially via knockout. You know, Jack Colque is a really tough out for anyone in the world and is one of those guys who would often come up short against the best fighters in the world, but always gave them a fight. The fact that he was able to stop him in Germany not only speaks to his skill set, but also the belief that their team has in him to go over to Germany to go fight that fight and get the title, which he did.
Paulie Malignaggi added to the discussion by contrasting the two fighters, pointing out that Tim Tszyu's popularity stemmed largely from his father's legendary boxing legacy. In contrast, Bakhram Murtazaliev had remained relatively unknown to broader audiences, primarily due to his limited exposure, having never fought in the US before this bout. Malignaggi noted that while Tszyu enjoyed the benefits of his family name, Murtazaliev was still working to establish himself on the international stage.
Tszyu had the big push behind him in Australia, right? So we were hearing a lot about Tszyu also from who his father was. The last name also goes towards that a lot to market you. With Murtazaliev, you really weren't hearing a lot of this. You know, he hasn't fought over here yet, and he hasn't fought in the US at all, I don't think, right?
He might have fought on some PBC cards, but
he doesn't have that profile that had the pushback like Tszyu did, you know? So when Tszyu got here, it was almost an anticipation, an expectation. With Murtazaliev, he is still looking for that curiosity to generate, right? And that's why people, I think, are overlooking Murtazaliev. He's a solid fighter, as the champ just mentioned.
The build-up to the fight between Tim Tszyu and Bakhram Murtazaliev featured several comments from both fighters, aimed at shaping opinions and creating excitement for their upcoming match. Murtazaliev spoke about Tsyu's team, mentioning that they talked a lot, but he didn't take it negatively. He respected their efforts to promote the fight and create buzz.
Существенного, пока мы не выйдем в ринг и не побоксируем. Все это просто слова.
I don't care who is he overlooking or what he's overlooking. I'm here to fight, and the ring will show who is who, and everything in the hands of God. And he talks a lot.
Tim Tszyu responded to these comments by saying that he was used to such remarks throughout his career. He thought this kind of talk was just part of promoting a fight, and he acknowledged that some fighters weren't as marketable as he was.
To have a little bit of a crack at you in terms of the hype that surrounds you and about the fact that he says that you talk a lot. Did you have any response to those?
Hype, I've listened to that since the start of my career. Not new. They keep saying that. A couple have started respecting, but then you get another one and again hype, blah blah blah, more bullshit. It is what it is, I guess, you know.
Tim Tszyu highlighted a key difference between himself and Bakhram Murtazaliev by noting Bakhram's decision to accept step-aside money, suggesting it indicated a different approach to career ambition. Tszyu contrasted this by emphasizing his focus on taking on the toughest challenges in the sport. He believes that facing strong competition is essential for building a lasting legacy and achieving greater rewards in boxing.
Those guys, do you think that's not promotable? Looking at what he's done in his career, he's sort of had to go wherever he's been told. He's taken step-aside money a lot of times. Do you think that's cost him?
Yeah, well, he's a step-aside fighter, clearly. You know, I'm here to take the biggest challenges, the hardest fights, the biggest fights, and create a legacy and make a shit ton of money. That's what I'm here for. Him on the other side, he's step-aside money, this and that, and whatever, man. We're in two different worlds.
Tim dismissed the idea that Bakhram was much avoided, insisting that he had been pursuing a fight with him for some time. He knew it would be a tough match, but believed that he was on a higher level. He repeated that he had been actively looking for this fight, showing his confidence and readiness. Thanks for watching. Bakhram Murtazaliev's decisive knockout over Tszyu marked a pivotal moment in the junior middleweight division. With this victory, Murtazaliev now eyes even bigger opportunities. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more boxing updates and insights. See you in the next one.